Hey, welcome to the patio. You want to stick around and listen to this? We're going to tell you what's going on with our brethren to the north. You'll be surprised what the hell's going on up there, and could it happen here? And I got everybody back in studio, so we're probably going to have a few laughs today. Welcome to the patio.
I saw a man rob a bank when I was 10. No, I didn't see the wrong kind. I wished that I was him. I grew up, thought was living in my head. Figured the life that I was living, I'd be better off dead. I watched the winners take it.
Hey, guys, welcome to the patio. I feel excited today. I'm sitting here with everybody in studio. If y'all been paying attention, it's basically been me and Fortenberry, and the other guys been hiding out. So, Fortenberry, what's it like being back in the patio? How you doing today, this Sunday afternoon,
I just
buddy?
took my shoes off. Got these dogs there now. It's good.
Woof, woof. Scoff. The family been sick. You've been sick. I think you've had COVID, strep, myocarditis. You've had it all, basically.
I think I did.
How are you and the family today?
We're good. I'm just glad to be back here with my fellow Pationians.
Pationians. I like it.
Yes.
The Pationians.
We need a flag.
We need a flag.
Pationian flag.
We'll fly it so high.
Maybe we need to put that out on Twitter. I think it's time for us to increase our.
We get Betsy Ross to get us a
we need a
Pationian
blue
flag.
check on Twitter, or I think they're changing it to something else. DW been out. He was traveling. He was not. I don't think he was sick, but he had sick family. He didn't want to come give it to me and Fortenberry, and we greatly appreciate that. But he's back in studio. How are you, DW?
I always want to give it to y'all. You fine-looking gentlemen.
He was like Mother Teresa.
He's
Mother
missed us.
Teresa.
He's missed our he's missed our facial hair.
I'm pretty good. I got my dogs out, my pants off. Feeling good.
You got his hog
Them
out.
dogs.
I'm gonna take my. I'm gonna leave my pants
Oh.
on. I'm gonna take my shoes off with you. There we go.
Gary got his
Look at
hog
those
out.
socks, guys. Look at those
I
things.
like. What are those? Horses?
Man, they're orange and green. They got a bird dog and some ducks or something.
How
Those
you
are
know it's a
some-
bird dog?
Those are mallards.
Well, there's birds and a dog, so
That almost looks like a weenie dog to me.
it might be, but he's
Maybe you got your wife's socks on. Some of your wife's socks with stretching that
Yeah,
dog out a little bit.
He got him real stretched out with his wide foot.
My wife's got little big feet. I got those skinny feet. I
I
got
don't
big,
know if I put them on
I
my
got
feet.
big old ankles. Though.
Look, if I put them on my feet, they'd look like a giraffe. Probably they'd have long necks and a little body.
It looks more like Seabiscuit than a dog.
I tell you, I have an extra long wiener dog on there. Big old
Extra
long ducks.
one. Hey, let's get a little bit of formalities out of the way. Look, we're going to drop this week, heading up to Christmas. We're going to have our normal Tuesday drop, which is today. We're going to have a drop on Thursday, and then we got a real surprise for you next week. We're going to do the best of. We're going to give you the best of. Each of us is going to pick an episode. We're going to do our own little intro, tell you why this was our favorite episode that we've done. Because, look, we're pushing up on 40 episodes, folks, and you know what? Listeners like you are making it happen. We are seeing a big uptick in listeners and downloads, and, man, we're pretty excited here on the patio. Real excited.
I've already got my episode picked out.
Oh, we're going to draw numbers and see who gets to go first on picking an episode. Man, there's so
we're
many
gonna do it.
of them.
We're gonna do it like Dynasty like fantasy football.
I volunteer to go last.
There you
Actually,
go.
I'd already volunteered to go last, but it doesn't matter to me either. I like them all.
I volunteer to go first.
What, you want to give us a little, you want to surprise us?
No.
Or
We'll
you
save
gonna
it
surprise?
for the audience.
Oh, okay. There are some strange things going on up north. Are you guys familiar with Canada's policy on assisted suicide?
I know that they have it. I know or not what. Yeah, it's a funny story. I know a funny story related to it.
It's a funny story.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
a funny story.
It's hilarious, actually.
Jamie just had like 3 separate conversations with himself.
I know.
He did.
Look, at least it wasn't y'all have no idea how many hours of my life have been spent removing the Gary normally knows. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So, you want to tell us your funny story first, I guess, Fort Barry?
I mean,
because
I can.
this is pretty serious from where I'm standing.
Okay, so there was this lady in a wheelchair who needed a chairlift to get to the second story of her home. So she put in to request for a chairlift to be provided by the government, and it was taking longer than she liked. So she responded back, and the government's response was, Well, if you're tired of waiting, we can offer you assisted suicide.
Okay, so we should save this for later, and it may end up later in what we're saying.
Your chairlift's on back order, ma'am. If you like, we can help you kill yourself.
Guys, y'all are going. I'm telling you,
Well, they're gonna walk her to the top of the stairs and throw her down.
So I'd be like, I'm good. No. The first floor is fine. I don't need to go upstairs.
You know what? I'd be like, you know what? Don't even worry about that chairlift. I'll make a pallet.
Do you guys remember back when Obamacare was first a thing, right? And they were like, hey, and everyone was like, they're going to kill grandma. Right? That was the big thing. Obamacare was like, you won't be able to keep your doctor.
Yep.
They're going to have these councils that decide who lives and who dies.
Yep.
Well, of course, that never happened here in the United States, but by gosh, it's not far from it there to north. I got a statistic. Let's go ahead and let me tell you a little bit about this story. So this was an editorial. This is an opinion article I'm going to read. What medically assisted suicide has done to Canada. You're not going to believe this. In 2021, more than 10,000 people ended their lives in Canada. That's 3% of all deaths in that nation were due to assisted suicide. Late October, it released a 3-minute film, a moody, watery, mystical tribute. Its subject was the suicide of a 37-year-old British Columbia woman who was approved for what Canadian law calls medical assistance in dying amid suffering associated with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a group of disorders that affect the body's connective tissue. In an interview quoted in Canada's National Post, the chief merchant of Simon stated that the film was obviously not a commercial campaign, even though it seemed like it was. It was a signifier of a public-spirited desire to build the communities that we want to live in tomorrow. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. So, I think that when you hear someone talk about medically assisted suicide, your first thoughts are, right, is someone who's terminally ill, they don't have much opportunity to survive, they're in pain. Well, that's is exactly what you first believe it to be, but they're going to be expanding these laws as we move into 2023. They're expanding assisted suicide to include the mentally ill,
people that can't get upstairs,
and the homeless as well, aren't they? Or the mentally ill that are homeless, possibly.
Listen, I'm gonna venture.
I got a feeling it's anybody that is a burden onto society.
I'm gonna guess if you're homeless in Canada, you're probably got short time to live anyway. It's pretty damn cold up there.
It is cold.
So medical assistance in dying, MAID they call it, has been available in Canada since 2016. It's set to expand in March of 23, extending eligibility to those with a mental illness. What happened to the days when we thought someone wanting to commit suicide was dealing with mental illness?
So as part of their stipulations for getting assisted suicide, not a psych eval to make sure you can make that decision for yourself?
I don't believe it is.
Well, apparently not.
I've got more to blow your mind.
Doesn't sound like it. I mean,
so basically, if you choose to end it, you can just go to them and be like, "Hey, I'd like you to help me kill myself."
Yeah,
and they're like, cool, okay.
I fully understand people who have terminal diseases and stuff and are living in pain, but a mental illness, that's not the same.
We don't let people with mental illness decide if they can go outside or not. Why would we let them decide if they live or die?
There's a lot of countries though that. I mean, look at us.
So you're going to go from here, though, to where you got adults doing it, right? Then one day somebody's 13, 12, 11,
hold on. I'm getting to that.
8-year-old's going to walk
Give
in
me
and
a damn minute. Give me a minute. I'm getting to that. It's going to blow your freaking mind. So you guys mentioned it earlier. We've got the homeless. You just mentioned it. We talked about that. The poor. We got the poor, the disabled, those with chronic pain. And then Research Physicians Group in Quebec wants to kill newborn infants. That's what's coming next. They're wanting to. I guess that's not. I guess you can text a damn newborn.
Oh hell, they just go to Virginia to do that.
I think didn't New Zealand just recently do a new law where you can have partial birth abortions and stuff, and they pretty much open everything. If you want to abort, all the way up to.
I was going to save this to later, but let's get into it. They are now wanting to offer assisted suicide for mature minors. Canada's controversial laws could expand to include children who qualify. The policy will nurture the country's growing culture of death. Abel Pelletier, I guess this is French, was only 4 years old when his mother began petitioning the parliament to allow a physician to take his life in a medically assisted death. He was severely disabled because of a rare condition called Mednick syndrome. Boy, they got some weird diseases in Canada. I hadn't heard of any of these damn diseases. It's incurable. Medications can manage certain aspects of the condition. Still, this case isn't what most people think of when they think of euthanasia or assisted suicide. They think of elderly people with terminal illness, not 4-year-olds. but this is where their broad laws permit medically assisted suicide if wound up.
Okay, now hold on.
Can you even believe
So let me ask
that
you
we're
this.
talking about that?
All I hear, especially from social media, is how that Canada has free healthcare. So why is she worried about medication? Isn't that what I heard in that was
Because you'd think all that's it's
Free.
universal health care, right?
yeah, if the healthcare is free, then all you got to do is love your child.
That
and-
still doesn't really hit on what I'm saying, though. What if, like, your kid walks in at 8 and says, okay, don't want to live anymore, sick of being
yeah.
here?
Hold
you
on.
got bullied at school.
Yeah.
As soon as March, Canada will allow mature minors to die.
What is a mature minor?
Hold
Yeah,
on, let's see if they define it. By euthanasia or assisted suicide, you ready for this? Without the consent of a parent. It's a loosely defined concept without a specific age. Children who are considered able to make their own medical decisions would be able to request a medically assisted death. So in Canada, and I'm going to have to look this up, in Canada, aren't you able to pick your gender at like 10 or 11 years old?
I probably am.
Yeah,
Well,
probably.
then you'd be
I mean, you could do that
considered
at-
mature at that age.
That's
right?
what I
Look,
was just thinking.
So what I want to know is why they got the euthanasia doing it. Why can't they get the youth in Canada?
Wah, wah. Hold on. That's it.
We're done.
There it is.
You
all
ended the show on that one, Jamie.
all the Asian youth coming in killing Canadians.
Yeah, it's violent Asians or euthanasia.
I mean, this whole thing is all about population control, and that's what abortion is, and that's what this is. They're limiting the world population.
But why is Canada worried about it? They only take up like
Because they tired of
5%
paying
their-
for all these people's health care.
The-
Yeah, exactly.
The
It's
New
cheaper
World
to
Order is
kill
worried
them than
about
to pay
it.
for their health
So
care.
the same with the homeless. You were just talking about it, I think, here a week or two ago. That mature minor, right? It's ridiculous.
What about immature adults? I consider myself one of them.
Jamie, you'd have no shot at getting killed over
Check
there.
this out.
You
One
live
do-
forever in Canada.
One doctor. Okay, so they're proposing that 12 as the minimum age requirement.
12.
That's terrible.
What,
Freaking 12 years old.
what do they consider the youth of the age of consent?
18. They have that. I just looked it up. The
Age
age of
of-
consent
For
is 18.
sex?
Yeah.
So you have to be
it's
18 to
have
choose
sex.
to have sex, but you can kill yourself at 12? Get out of here, dude. Y'all are ignorant.
That's ridiculous.
It's
Can we cut
ridiculous.
Canada off of
No,
North America and
no.
like float it out somewhere?
Let's just invade them.
Let's just invade them.
Yeah.
Medically assisted suicide of Alan Nichols in 2019 was held up as an example. The 1-year-old was depressive.
61-year-old or 1-year-old?
61-year-old was depressive
661.
and reportedly suicidal. Canadian law.
1-year-old?
No, this dude is 61 years old.
He was crying.
He was depressive. Yeah, I guess if he's crying, you can.
Yeah, you don't
consider him
cry in
depressive.
Canada.
It was colicky.
And reportedly suicidal. Canadian law requires patients can only legally undergo medically assisted suicide if suffer from a physical, not mental ailment. Nichols, it is reported in the article is listed hearing loss as his reason for euthanasia.
Hearing loss.
Damn, I
Hearing
can't hear
loss.
right now.
Hey, Helen Keller, I don't know how she would even found out about it, but
Yeah.
shoot, I guess somebody could have drew something on her hand.
Yeah, but she didn't really have all that stuff.
I'm just going to say, my boy Matt Groening has called everything. You know, he did The Simpsons. He also did Futurama. You know, the
Yeah.
next step's the suicide boost, right?
It is a suicide boost off of
Futurama.
yeah.
That's
Well, you
like
know,
when
The
the first
Simpsons-
episode with Bender.
Yeah, because Bender would walk in, he'd have a quarter, and he'd like stick quarter and pull it back out with a string so he'd get his money back.
Yep.
So it's suicide boost.
So suicide, you guys talked about, is being a control for population control, right?
Yep.
Control for medical expenses. All of that's true, but a lot of the modern countries are experiencing population, not growth, but
Yeah,
population going
Well,
down.
yeah.
Well,
We're
that's-
not procreating at a rate to sustain the population.
I think that's got to be another episode about the birth rate going down, because we have talked about that a little bit. But
Look, I've done my part.
I know me and Jamie both have done our part.
So y'all two got to keep up.
Y'all ain't getting it.
Jamie said, while we wait, procreate.
While we rape, we must procreate. Yeah, because right now, to maintain
I got 2.
population
Well,
levels,
I guess you're,
the average in the
alive.
U.S. is 1.56.
But I got a
That's
boy and a
average.
girl, so I figured I can be
That's
done now.
average.
No, you need one more.
Nah.
One more.
You could mess around and be like Code, end up with 2 more.
That's right.
The estrogen in that house has to be just.
How broke is it going to be with marriages and stuff? I'm like, Please go off.
Look, he's like me when your start point's broke. What are you gonna? What are you gonna do?
Look, so let's bring this to an end right here, talking about Canada. Look, I wanted to bring this up to you guys because this sounds far fetched, but it's happening. It's happening to the north. If assisted suicide, there's 10,000 a year, and there's far less population there than we have here in the U.S. And it's taking place. How far are we from introducing
What's the
this
birth
to
rate in
US?
Canada? I get on the Google machine. What's the birth rate in Canada? I don't know what their plus minus average
Man,
is.
as cold as it is, you think it'd be high.
They're at 1.4 births per one. Let's see what the U.S. birth rate.
It's gone down though. I mean,
It's 1.64 births per woman.
What I do know is if they keep on assisted suicide in Canada, we'll just be able to walk up there and take it.
yeah, there won't nobody there.
Okay, I think we could do that now.
I think we
I
can
think
do
we
that
could.
now.
I think you and I could do that.
Has anybody ever seen what was the movie with John Candy where they attacked Canada?
Canadian bacon.
It is.
Canadian-
That
was
is
it Canadian
Canadian
bacon?
Bacon. Yeah.
My favorite part of the
I forgot all about
I
that.
think that was his last movie too, wasn't it?
No, it was yes, it was.
probably
Or was
should
it
have been
Blazing
if it
Saddle?
wasn't.
Oh no, he wasn't in Blazing
No,
Saddle.
Oh, that was way
my
off.
favorite part of that whole
That man
movie.
ain't getting on no horse.
Hey, you'd be surprised. Us
Look.
big men have big horses.
All right, Jamie, tell us about your
my
favorite part of the whole
that
movie. I'm
movie.
sorry.
So they get pulled over by the cops. They have all this Logans or slogans. Yeah, I
Hate
can't talk.
Logans.
Them hate Logans. That's what Gary's
my
full of hate
brother-
Logans.
All them hate Logans. They're angry
All these
Logans.
hateful slogans on the side of their truck they're driving, and they're all in English. They get pulled over by the cops. They said, "Now you know you have to have those in French too." They get pulled over. They make them write the hate slogans in French.
Look, check out our website. We're going to have links to all these stories we just talked about. There's a whole lot of information there, but you should be informed.
And Canadian bacon.
Look, this is wild. It's hard to believe that a modern country, but look in Asia, not Asia, but look in Europe.
That's
in Asia,
amazing.
there's government assisted suicides all the time. But
Let me ask you this. So, like, me and Johnny got in a heated conversation a few weeks ago about different cultures. In
Yeah,
Asia,
you were supporting Iran. I believe you said
yeah, I
Iran's
know,
a model.
that was a terrible.
Iran.
That was
Iran.
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 That was a terrible
Analogy.
Yeah, but
You opened the door to be slaughtered. So.
yes, I did. But like,
Literally.
look at Japan. Look at Korea. Japan. Look at Korea and all this.
So Japan has a huge suicide culture. I don't know if that's what you were supposed to talk about.
Well, I don't think it necessarily now.
Is it a suicide culture?
No. So maybe that's
Y'all
bad.
talking about
But
samurais?
But look how they honor the elderly. They're not trying to get the elderly to go kill
No, not
themselves.
at all.
No, the
actually,
kids
they
take
don't.
care
No,
of
they
that.
take
Yes,
care of-
I mean they have a strong
Family.
strong family. They're not trying to get mom and papa to go out there and get killed.
Now, like a lot of that samurai culture and Japanese culture stuff's actually true. Like if they did something dishonorable, they would take their life. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's part of what they were.
They're like, oh, I got speeding ticket.
Oh,
Honor death.
honor kill.
honor death.
That's what
We
you gotta
must have
say.
the honor
Honor
death.
kill.
Father, I got speeding ticket. must
So if
die.
you get a speeding ticket, your father tells you dishonor this family.
You
Like,
just,
it's like,
you just
crap.
on a family. You will die.
What do they call it? Harakari, right? Where they fall on the sword. It's
I don't think it's Harry Carey.
Commit Harakari.
it is, isn't it?
It's not Harry Carey. That's
Carey's
the
a dude.
baseball for the dude with the Cubs announcer. Dang, Jamie got emphysema. He like the Marlboro man.
Oh, I need assisted suicide.
Oh, here it is.
It don't sound
is.
like you need help.
People use that term. See, Jamie,
Yes,
you are wrong.
You are wrong, Jerry. It is right.
My-
Commit Harakari because I've heard of it before.
Yes, it's not spelled Harry Carey, but it's pronounced Harry Carey. Oh,
Yeah.
No, it's not pronounced Harry
It
Carey.
Yes, it is.
It's
bullshit.
It's spelled Harakari.
I need a Japanese guy to pronounce that for me.
Harakari.
But it is. It's an honor kill.
you do Harakari.
It's an honor kill. They go out and they lay on their sword. Not the guy at the at the
No, but
Cubs game.
that's what I'm talking about.
They gonna lay on some big frame glasses.
Culture, that's what it's called.
Yes.
Okay.
Harakari.
Shit, I'm vibrating
Dang,
over
you
here.
rung a bell.
Oh, look, he got so
He's-
tickled at my incorrect pronunciation.
So
But is
what
it-
they do is they make you go watch the old Cubs game.
Yeah, that's what happens.
and then you want to kill yourself because they suck, and it's the goat. All right, look, I got.
Harakari.
We are,
And now we're
but,
talking about Harakari.
but look
right.
what happens when the government takes over healthcare. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I agree.
Look,
Sure.
Look what happens when Harakari takes over suicides.
Just slaying bodies out here.
take me out to the ball game. Take me out
I could
to the
use a
ball
hot dog with some mustard on it.
with some mustard.
Dude, I used to come in at parking. For some reason, the only channel we picked up that was out of Arkansas was WGN.
WGN, yeah.
So you come home.
We
in the
couldn't get
afternoons
that
from
in
school.
Earl.
Could
So.
you not?
No.
Dude,
Watch Cubs and Bulls.
Yeah, I grew up watching Harakari or listening to Harakari.
He was great.
You watched
man.
him?
Yeah, listen.
His
to
glasses were like really thick. His eyes were
Dude,
like the size of
so
Coke
I
balls.
As a matter of fact, I collect autographs and stuff. I don't have that one. I need to go see if there's one out there. It's probably expensive.
Dude, I mean, he was.
I'll sign one for you.
I mean,
Thanks,
he was a staple.
I'll spell it like the Japanese version.
Harakari.
Harakari.
I'll authenticate it for him.
Harakari.
You authenticate it
Yeah,
with Harakari.
with Harakari.
I'm gonna change my name. All right, look. All right, just to be on. All right, I got another story here,
All right.
and this is where the battle lines were drawn last time.
Oh, Harakari.
I got an update on one of the most heated discussions we've had here on the patio.
Are Iranians nice to women?
No, this was before
no, they're
that.
making
This goes
hurricanes,
back. So, if y'all remember, we talked about a 4-month-old who had a heart condition that needed surgery, and the parents would not allow the surgery unless they could guarantee the blood was not tainted with
Gotta watch
the
them taints.
COVID vaccine. So, an update: New Zealand court took guardianship of the baby after parents refused the vaccinated blood for heart surgery.
Okay.
So they did.
Did they do the surgery?
The child was placed under the temporary guardianship of New Zealand's High Court after his parents refused to allow him to undergo life-saving
Then the
surgery.
government said it was too expensive. Said nope.
Nope. Yeah, that's
Let's see, did they have surgery?
So never mind.
Did the baby?
They said,
yeah.
psych.
Did the baby get
We're just
surgery?
funning.
But this is back to our last argument. This may have been the right decision for this kid, but now you've opened it to the government making health decisions for
want
your
to-
child,
Look, if
like
you
assisted suicide.
if you want to Harakari every kid, just say something.
All right, I want to give an update from my position, right? So I thought about this a lot after our talks and listening to the podcast again. In this instance, I believe it's the right thing.
Yeah, for this instance, it was, but I think it opens the door.
But the problem
does.
is
It does.
exactly what
It does.
Gary says,
Yes.
is that who's to say next time that someone making the right decision, is it someone that decides, hey, we should allow this child to have euthanasia because
I still think it's a dumb
parents.
decision. I still don't think the government should just stay out of it.
I'm with you, Donnie. I mean,
So, you guys asked a question last time, and the parents demanded that they simply go ask for donations from a person chosen by the family, and they would not do that. Now, see, this is where it becomes a problem.
I was gonna say because the hospital could have solved this.
I do think that if the court had, like, if this person has legitimate options and they don't want to accept those options, then maybe the court steps in and says, look,
It sounds like the hospital had options and they
They
refused
claim it was impractical to have a directed donor. That's
well,
bullshit.
if it's possible, then they should meet those needs, right?
to. Yeah.
They should. But
Because what if it was a religious need? If it was a
I
religious
mean,
need,
they would meet it.
It's
I thought they
very
were
different.
weren't they basing it on religion?
No,
Because
their religion of the belief that the
if
vaccine would cause
If it had been a
harm.
religious,
they would have
belief,
met it without hesitation.
yeah,
Yep. Especially if it was not Christian.
Oh, yeah.
especially if it's
So with the parents and doctors unable to agree on the infant's treatment and blood transfusion, the New Zealand Health Service made an
weeks.
application under the Care of Children Act in November. Hell, does that not sound similar to some act we've got here?
like Obamacare.
See, you give these acts some name, and then it sounds like, oh, that's the great thing to do. Requesting the court to appoint a doctor to take temporary guardianship of the baby for his medical care only. The parents' lawyer, Sue Gray, said that they had spent many hours considering their options after the court ruling had concluded there was no time to appeal. So they decided to spend peaceful time with their baby until the operation and to support him through the operation. So basically, they gave in.
What choice do you have?
They
at
didn't
that
have no
point?
choice. They were forced. They didn't want to lose their child. Either
Wasn't
way,
it
I don't think.
Australia and New Zealand?
You know
or one
what's
of
really
those?
crazy is probably one half of that set of parents was probably relieved.
Well,
he's probably like, "Dang, my wife's
You got a
crazy,
50-50
man. Like, I
shot
just
of
want my
that.
kid to live." Right?
I'm sure both want the kid to live, and
You
now
never
that
know.
there's, but
Maybe I'm
there's
trying to Harakari.
that could be. New Zealand's probably not so different than Canada.
I don't know how you say Harakari.
Y'all need to-
Harakari.
You guys need to stop
It's the same
teaching
way.
Jamie new words and stuff.
No,
Stop.
no. That'll be my word of the month.
The word goblin mode is your word of the year. Don't forget that.
Goblin mode Harakari.
But this child, I don't believe the request to have someone provide blood that they knew is too harsh or too wild.
No, I don't think so either. I think the hospital was drawing a hard line, and the court should have stepped in. Actually, and I know I'm flip flopping here. They should have stepped in on behalf of the parents and said that this is a doable.
Check this out. 90% of people aged 12 or above in New Zealand have had 2 shots, and over 70% of eligible adults have received a first booster shot. That's a very high number.
Yep, it is.
That is a very high number.
I think they were one of the highest. Them and Israel, I think, was one of the highest vaccinated countries. I want to say, back in the day when it first came out.
Remembers when Harakari fell out of the booth?
Well, Harakari was drunk on every.
Yeah, like that's what I used to love about him. I know, like you said, not about Harakari. So, like, if you listen to him at the beginning of the game, he's like me in the podcast. Mm-hmm. The longer he would do broadcast, the drunker he'd get.
All right, who is better, Harakari or Bob Uecker?
Oh boy, that's a tough one.
All right, so we have gone talking about assisted suicide. We talk about Japanese assisted suicide with
I still like
Harakari.
Harakari, I think.
But guess
Bob Uecker was funnier,
He's also in a movie.
but Harakari was more nostalgic.
It's just like a huge personality. Like,
Yeah.
So, did you know there was such thing as the Harakari rules? This didn't have anything to do with suicide. It had to do with going out on the town or going out for a night with Harakari.
Look, Harakari is so popular. He gave a suicide term in Japan, and he has a rule in baseball.
I'm pretty sure that preceded his name.
Maybe they
after
got named
that.
after suicide. They're like, let's kill him. Like, no, let's just call him Harakari.
And I know you've watched the SNL skits with Will Ferrell with Harry.
They're really funny, man.
Yeah,
They're
hilarious.
What's your favorite baseball movie?
Favorite baseball movie? Ooh,
Dude, I'll tell you mine right now, Moneyball.
that is a good movie.
Really?
I love Moneyball.
Yeah,
man.
that's actually a good movie.
Every time, and I'll sit and watch it over and over, just where he's
I don't know
breaking
about that.
down the players.
I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say The Sandlot. The Sandlot was
Sandlot's
a great
pretty-
movie. It's a solid
So
movie.
That's my
Moneyball
wife's
was
favorite.
one that I turned on and didn't like. Look, my dad is not a sports guy. My dad liked Moneyball.
Moneyball's not a sports. I mean, it is, but it's
No,
not.
my dad was like, Moneyball was good. I was like, you like Moneyball? He was like, yes, I really like Moneyball. Like,
All right, so I probably have 2. Look, this is a rom-com. It's not a rom-com. For Love of the Game is a really, really good baseball movie.
That's with Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner. And then no one talked about Field of Dreams.
Oh, that's a nostalgic movie.
Actually, both have Kevin Costner, don't they?
Both have
They do.
you're a Kevin Costner.
I am
fan.
not, actually, but
You ever seen Mr. Brooks? That's a good movie.
No.
With Kevin Costner.
all right, good. There's
What
one.
about The
I didn't like.
Natural?
That's the one I was trying to think
The
of. That's
Natural's-
actually really good, too.
That's Robert Redford.
Yep.
That's a good movie too.
I'm gonna say my 1-2 is Moneyball's number 1, and I'm gonna say Field of Dreams 2.
I would say, but we're
But Major League.
Major League is great.
Major League's a good
Yeah,
baseball
but
movie.
Major League is Major League. Is that real? I mean, it is. Yes, it is a baseball.
It's a great movie. It really is.
I still think Major League
Yeah.
is good. It's a baseball movie. But Sandlot's
Sandlot's
like
is
one
so
of those
solid.
really.
It's a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, it
It
came
is.
out too when we were kids. It's
yeah.
kind of like Three Ninjas and
Oh yeah,
the Home Alone movie. And
Oh, yeah.
what's another one from back in the day?
The early
like that?
90s.
Hey, Violent Night will be.
Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year was a solid movie. Dude got the like arm
Yeah,
that's
arm.
like.
I
broken.
didn't
like
care.
that.
I didn't care for
And
that.
then
You
at
don't
the
like that?
at the end, his mom was just like, just float it.
Just
You know
float
what?
it.
You know what it's
Just
like?
float it.
Angel in Outfield.
Angels and Outfield's a good movie.
What about League of Their Own?
You know what you?
Dude,
Hey, League of Their Own's a
Own
great
is-
movie.
Boy, now I'm stumped because League of Their Own is
Yeah.
top
Wa-
3.
Was there
Yeah,
an
that's
Air
good.
Bud movie with about
I don't know.
I don't
baseball?
know if I care about Air Bud, man.
Did you know League of Their Own has like the highest gross out of all the baseball movies
I
ever?
can believe
No,
it. League
yeah,
of-
it's a
first of
great
all,
movie.
First of all, it's loaded with talent.
And
Oh,
a
it
great,
is.
like, Tom Hanks is great.
He
I
is.
think.
Y'all
There's
have
no
to-
crying in baseball.
No crying in baseball. And he's terrible to him, which fits the time era, right?
But
It was we got way off track here.
Well,
but you know
No,
what?
we're
That's-
not, because I'm going to follow up with where you talked about Harry Carey. We might as well continue because I got a list of rules. If you were going to hang out with Harry Carey, we're going to talk about those.
He had his own rules.
He had his rules. But look, we're still talking about movies.
y'all didn't mention the Babe too. I'm just gonna.
No, I was going to say, that, a lot of people don't like that. I like the Babe.
I did too.
I don't think I saw that one.
Have you not?
No, I don't think so.
It's got a pig in it and everything.
All right, so here's the rules of going out with Harry Carey. Number one is be prepared. To go with Harry was to ring in the new year on a Tuesday in July every night.
Tuesday in July.
Might
I
have
love
been
that.
New Year's Eve for him.
I love
That's
that.
awesome. It would have killed a much younger man, he said. If you were smart, you didn't try to keep pace.
This is the Harry Carey rules.
This is the Harry Carey. These are guys that went out with Harry Carey. For much of Harry's career, he actually started in the first inning when the local papers reported he'd crack a beer in the booth.
Yep.
One time, former Expos broadcaster Elliot Price tuned into a Cubs game. Harry was calling the action from the bleachers right there among the fans. Because somewhere during the game, Harry started to sing, and he's singing Jody Davis. Jody Davis. It was incredibly entertaining. All right, rule number 2 is Budweiser only. Harry had a code. He never heard Harry swear. He never turned down a fan who wanted a moment. He rarely missed an inning of baseball. He used to stay out until 3 or 4 in the morning and every day get up at 7 like clockwork. Okay, this is how I was in like my 20s, but damn, I couldn't do
I
that.
can't
now.
do that no more. My body hurts.
Like Harry Carey, I mean, he is a true American legend.
Twice a week, Harry would walk into Butch McGuire's, the Chicago watering hole, and tell McGuire that he needed to sell Budweiser
Let him know.
because he was a Budweiser man. Rule number 3, be ready for anything. On another night in Chicago, Harry was out on Rush Street when a CTA bus stopped at a red light on the corner. When the doors opened, Harry hopped on at the front of the bus, strolled down the aisle, offered high fives to everyone on the bus, then exited out the back door before the lights turned green.
He sounds like a good
this
time,
dude,
man.
Jamie, we would have had fun with him in New Orleans. With
Dude.
I think Poppins May could have kept up with him.
I don't
which
know.
one?
This
Which
guy-
version?
I don't know,
This
Gary
guy
or
was in
Poppins.
the
I don't know.
No,
70s.
this is Gary. I think
This Gary could have got it.
Jamie and Harry Carey would have been homeless in the streets.
or dead. We've already said dead. Rule number 4, every minute is precious. Harry loved to argue. If you said Tony Gwynn was the best hitter, he'd find a way to stump for Ace. If you said Joe DiMaggio was the best player, he would have said Stan Musial. So he loved to argue.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
Number 5, be ready for the truth. He was a brutal truth teller. That's no surprise. The old blue eyes exception, there was one man who could outlast Harry Carey. The night in question came in both at the pump room inside the Ambassador East.
The pump room.
Damn.
What are they
Jeez.
doing in there?
Yeah, there was a comedian performing with Frank Sinatra at the Chicago Theater, and he had an idea to put Harry versus Sinatra. Who could outdrink who? The standoff lasted till 5 a.m., round after round. Finally, Sinatra could outdrink Harry Carey. And then rule number 7, life is about the people you meet. Rule number 8, sometimes you just deserve a cocktail. Amen, brother.
You wanna
And
know?
those are his 8 rules.
You want to know?
I
where the-
like those rules.
You want to know where the term cocktail came from?
Yes.
Is this safe? Is this G-rated?
Well,
It's not
yeah.
G-rated,
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
So
It's almost so dark in here we can't see each other
Yeah,
anymore.
Yeah,
So-
the sun's going down.
So in Prohibition, okay, long story. So I can do it like this. So, used to they would take a horse, and if they wanted to sell a horse but make it appear better than it was, they would take a piece of ginger and stick it in his ass, and the horse would
Perk up.
perk up because he got ginger in his ass.
Yeah.
Look, I always perk up with ginger
So-
in my
So basically, they were pegging horses
Yeah, they were pegging horses with ginger, and so the horse's tail would stick up.
with ginger.
Now, hold on. I missed something
That
here.
should be the. Hey, that
What
should be the.
prompted this?
That should be the title of this
Well-
episode: "Pegging Horses with Ginger."
What does that have to do with euthanasia, with
It doesn't.
Harakari or Harry Carey?
So when they would make a mixed drink on
Because you want to kill yourself if
this is where
somebody
the
stuck
cocktail
ginger
comes
up your
from.
butt.
Cocktail.
But still, okay, how
Okay.
does ginger up a horse's ass have to do with
Well, if
cocktail?
you would stop and listen. So they would stick ginger up a horse's ass, and the horse would get all wound up because he got ginger in his ass. So they started saying on the morning after a hangover, "Do you want this drink? It'll cock your tail."
Cock your tail.
Because the horse would raise his tail when he had to be Ginger's ass. So it was a cocktail. It was a pick me up after you had a hangover.
Okay, so where does this come from? Okay, you told us why. Where does what's point in history where
Prohibition. Prohibition. We're talking 1920s.
So cocktail was actually a remedy.
Yes. A cocktail was a hangover remedy, and I can't remember exactly what there was. There was an actual. It involved like it was kind of like a hot toddy, but it had a couple things in it. But
hey, ginger cleanses your palate. I wonder if it cleanses your colon too.
It might.
Dear Lord, baby Jesus in heaven, look down upon us this Sunday.
So anytime you want to cock your tail, you mix you a drink
and cleanse your colon.
That's also where the term long in the tooth comes from. Was it when you check a horse? When you buy a horse, you check his teeth, and if his teeth are long because his gums are kind of receded, that's how you know the horse was
He
old.
had wore out. He was old and wore out.
He was long in the tooth.
Yeah, gingivitis.
So you
Gingivitis. That was solid, dude. That was a super dad joke.
Jamie
Knuckles. That was good right there.
Jamie is full of useless information.
Useless information. But I still remember the first useless trivia thing I ever absorbed as a child.
Absorbed. Yeah.
We were living in Newport, so I was probably 3. And my parents were playing Trivia Pursuit, and I don't know why this stuck in my head. Who knows what scuba means? Like a
self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
Yes.
Boom!
Yep. Yeah.
That's it.
I knew
Bingo.
that.
Well, I learned this at 3 years old. I don't know why it stuck in my brain.
I learned it too.
Well, when you was 2, this is the 70s, though.
You're so much better than Jamie.
that's
Jamie,
true.
you dishonor this
That's
podcast.
You must commit Harakari.
Harakari.
I think that's all I got, folks. We're going to close it out right here. What's your parting words, Fort Berry? What would you like to tell people this
Man,
Tuesday?
I got some good parting words. So, I don't know if y'all noticed, but recently there was I don't know how recent the story was, but Al Sharpton,
The Reverend Al?
the great Reverend Al Sharpton, admitted to being a snitch for the FBI.
No, I haven't heard this at all.
Not
Surprise.
surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So,
Not surprised.
I'm not surprised. So, my take is there was a rumor that Jesse Jackson was also involved in and that Jesse was involved in the assassination of Martin Luther King.
That's probably conspiracy.
That's
and not
conspiracy
rumor,
right there.
That's your parting thoughts.
That's my
I
parting
mean,
thoughts.
dang, we should have had that damn near whole episode. All right, Gary, what's your parting thoughts for the week? What you want people to know after today?
Love your brother, love yourself, and keep government out of your life.
Do you love your brother? Oh, you love your brother. DW, you got any parting words for us?
Just like mine and Gary's are so different. I just
Well, can anybody guess what mine is? What am I going to say?
Jesse Jackson was also
That's not
helped
what I'm
kill.
going to say. I bet Terry can guess what I'm going to say. He said, Donnie, do you have any important words for us? DW. I'm probably not really.
Don said Jesse Jackson helped kill JFK.
Nah, look, I do. It was good being back in here with you guys. It's like Terry said, we've all been down or out or different places, so it's been nice to sit back in here with y'all. Even though we're recording on battery power.
That's
basically.
right. We're recording. That's all that matters.
Like
So look,
like
I'll end it right here,
it's getting
and we're going to
dark
play us out. It is getting dark. We can barely see. We are recording because we want to get to you.
When's the Marty Ray concert? January?
January
Hey,
21st.
keep in mind, if you're in the Beardo, there's going to be one tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow, the Bitterverse.
The Beardiverse.
Beardiverse.
Go check it out.
Heck yeah.
But
But the big one we're going to is January 21st.
look, we've been doing this since early September 2nd, and we sat in this room, and we've come a long way since then, guys, and it's only because of you. As we start the new year, we're trying to put something out every day, something short, something just kind of give you a little heads up what's going on. If we miss a day, don't hold it against us, but we're trying to get a little something out there every day to keep you interested.
Jamie, tell them we've
That's
been
all I
putting
got.
out short stuff our whole life, haven't we?
That's all I've been putting out short stuff.
Get out,
keep putting
Follow
out
us,
Listen to
follow, share us,
Follow.
tell your
Check out
friends
the
about us.
website. It's improving.
Tell your
It
mama
is.
about us. She may like it. A lot of mamas do.
Most of you mamas know about me.
Yeah, you're the guy they warned you about.
At least Goff does.
Yeah.
Walk me to the riverside and lead me while my mother cries. 'Cause somebody done took from an outlaw. Take my picture down from the courthouse wall. I'm living in the clouds and I ain't gon' fall. Somebody done saved this outlaw.